This video is brought to you by NetSuite by Oracle. If you are a CEO who's tired of using QuickBooks or tired of the nonsense of running multiple programs at once, upgrade to NetSuite to more effectively run your company. The Brooklyn Nets traded for James Harden. And now the Nets have a very messy big three. They got Kevin Durant, they got James Harden, and they got Kyrie Irving. Kyrie, who's been sitting out and is a basket case. And I've heard some people say that it says a lot about LeBron James, how LeBron James, look what he was able to do with Kyrie Irving. He got the best out of Kyrie Irving, and now without LeBron, look where Kyrie Irving is. And that's not wrong. I mean, Kyrie Irving without LeBron has been a mess, and with LeBron, titles. I mean, they were great. However, I would also say it appears to me that mentally and emotionally, Kyrie Irving has just evolved worse and worse and worse. And I'm not taking a shot at the guy. I don't understand his decision-making at all. Everything he's been saying, the way he's carried himself, the things he's doing, he's not playing. I don't understand Kyrie Irving. I'm not going to try to understand Kyrie Irving. That's not true. How about this? I have tried to understand Kyrie Irving, and I can't. And so it's not a lack of empathy. It's a lack of, dude, I don't know what he's doing. And so for that, it's a mess. And I want to be very, very clear about this messy big three: Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. They are not going to win a championship with the Brooklyn Nets. They're not. And I know that I'm actually very, very shocked and surprised. I've seen some people say, can you believe it? It's going to happen. And oh man, you got an insecure Kevin Durant. You got a head case Kyrie Irving. And James Harden quit on Houston. Now, I know that James Harden wanted out. When you want out of a team and you're really trying to get yourself traded, you do everything possible. I don't like making this comparison, but it does remind me of Jamal Adams with the Jets. Jamal Adams wanted out of the Jets. He was very comfortable making that very clear. And you got to play dirty sometimes to get out. If you want to force a trade, you got to do whatever it takes to make that happen. So I think some of that was what happened with James Harden. But it's still a weird look. I mean, he came in out of shape. He gave up on his teammates. I don't feel great about what happened with James Harden in Houston, but I'm not going to say it's the end of the world, because some of that is just that he, I think, really wanted out and was trying to force a trade. Now, it still doesn't quite feel very good to say I think that James Harden is the most stable player in that big three. Also kind of weird. We've seen, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kevin Durant were all together in OKC. And we've seen all these guys kind of come back together at points in their career. Russ and James Harden didn't work. I don't know how well Kevin Durant and James Harden is going to work. My really big problem here is egos. I just think the egos, who's going to take the final shot, how are they going to share the ball, it's going to be a mess and a nightmare, and I'm really concerned about it. However, it's going to be really fun to watch. But again, I want to restate, the Brooklyn Nets are not going to win a championship in the NBA. It's not 2K. Just because they're three great players doesn't mean they're going to be three great players that work together and have cohesion. And I will say, though, despite the fact I don't know that, I strongly believe it's not going to win a championship. It's never going to happen. I do believe that ownership did the right thing for the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, once you realize, hey, Kyrie Irving is a mess. He's falling apart. We don't know. He's MIA. It's weird. And I think the Brooklyn Nets realized we're not going to win a championship. Like, this team isn't going to win a championship in the NBA. So once you realize you're not in contention anymore, then what you got to do is try to make a move to grab attention and be interesting. And I don't chase the NBA. I wait for the NBA to grab my attention. I'm mostly a football guy, and I love basketball, but I'm not going to watch meaningless basketball games on a Tuesday in January. Like, come on, give me good basketball and I'll watch. I mean, the other day I watched the Ball Brothers. It was like the first time I've really paid attention. I watched a little bit on Christmas, and then I watched the Ball Brothers play each other the other day. I'm like, oh, LaMelo Ball is interesting. Like, I feel ashamed that that's the thing that made me interested in the NBA. But hey, I'm a sucker for a good story, and LaMelo Ball versus Lonzo Ball is interesting. And even though they're not going to win a championship, the Brooklyn Nets are now interesting. They're going to be exciting and fun, even if it's awful. Even if they're yelling and screaming and fighting, hey, I'll watch that too. I don't care. I think a lot of people, myself included, are going to be tuned in now to the Nets, and that's good for business. Therefore, that's a great move by the Nets organization.